Good evening. I would like to call to order the Keizer City Council in regular session. It is Monday, March 16th, 2026, and ask our city recorder to please call roll.
Councilor Parsons?
Here.
Councilor Kohler?
Here.
Mayor Clark?
Here.
Council President Starr?
Here.
Councilor Christopher?
She's here.
Councilor Duran?
Here.
Councilor Cross?
Okay, that's what she said. Councilor Cross.
Oh, Councilor Cross is excused for work.
Youth Councilor Guptill?
Here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. If you are able, I ask you to please rise and all join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much on this gorgeous, just before spring day. It is beautiful outside. We are going to go into our special orders of business, and we're going to begin with our proclamation for Women's History Month. And it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker tonight, Tammy Wild from the Keizer Heritage Museum. If you'd like to come on up. Tammy Jackson Wild and her husband have lived in Keizer since the 1970s. They both graduated from McNary High School, as well as their son and daughter also are McNary Celts. Go Celts. Beginning in... Thank you, Chief. All right.
Please silence your phone.
Beginning in high school, Tammy started documenting her family history and genealogy. With curiosity and a desire to know more about the Keizer community, she went to the Keizer Heritage Museum in 2014 and met Evelyn Melson Franz. From that encounter, she joined the museum committee and authored the book, Images of America, Keizer, with Arcadia Publishing. Buy a copy of that book. It's really fantastic. The past year, she has been working with a grant project through the Oregon State Capitol Foundation on documenting Thomas Dove Keizer's role in Oregon government with his roles in the early Oregon Territorial Legislature and the Oregon Rangers. For Women's History Month at the Keizer City Council meeting, Tammy is pleased to share some key women who have left their mark on Keizer's history. Please welcome Tammy Wild.
Well, thank you all. I'm pleased to be here this
Pull the
evening.
microphone closer to you, please.
Yeah,
You have
I'm
a
pleased to be
voice.
here. And as you said, I'm Tammy Wild, a Keizer resident and volunteer at the Keizer Heritage Museum. And it's an honor to introduce you to some key women who have made the Keizer community a better place. Many others could be listed. It was hard to narrow it down here, but there's so many that have made a difference for the good of our society, and each serving in their own sphere of family and neighborhood. The women highlighted here gave of their time and talent to educate, serve, and lead others in our city and beyond. And I've kind of categorized it, and starting with Native women, I've been able to meet Chemawa historian Sue Ann Reddick, and we've gone over records and documents of our shared land history. So that's been kind of unique and fun. And Crystal Parsons, who also was a teacher at Chemawa and is sharing her native crafts and family traditions. And of course, you know, Dolores Pigsley, a Keizer native, we're proud to say, and longtime tribal leader and role model for many. And going back to the pioneer women, we all know about Thomas Dove Keizer, but he had an industrious, faithful woman by his side that allowed him to do all the things he was able to do. So that was Mary Gurley Keizer. And of course, we know about the legendary wedding socks that have been presented and talked about here in the past, but she was a dutiful mother and grandmother. And her daughter, you may not know, Beta Ann Keizer Ford, was a doctor. And she inspired two of her daughters to be doctors, as well as a son that was a prominent Salem attorney. So her daughters, the sisters, Angela and Ella Ford, were the first women graduates of Willamette University's medical school. So there's other women that attended, but they were the first graduates. And then other women in education is prominent. And we all know about Charles McNary, but his sister, Nina, his older sister, Nina McNary, was one of the first women teachers in Keizer and a sister of Charles McNary. And then when their mother and father passed, she helped raise Charles and his brother John, who also was an attorney and judge in the Salem area. And then Alice Rose Jones was a prominent woman in education with Keizer family roots. She was a music teacher at McNary and the first choir and musical director at the brand new McNary High School in 1965 and until her retirement. And Carmelite Weddle was a teacher and principal of both Keizer Elementary and Kennedy schools, and a community leader that was involved in many areas. And of course, she has a school named after her at Weddle Elementary. And another school that was named after a prominent woman was Joy Hills Gubzer. She was a teacher in Salem schools and an associate state superintendent for the Oregon Department of Education. So those are all prominent women that involved in the schools. And in the community, and also associated with the school is Dora Cummings. Her family was farmers in the area that has the street and the school named after them. She was a volunteer, and her husband was a member of the Keizer School Board when Keizer School was its own district. And the Keizer Fire Bells, you may not have heard of them, but they're wives of the volunteer firefighters that form the Keizer Fire District Auxiliary. So the Keizer Fire Bells are noted. And then those of us that are involved in the museum know about Ann Losner, and she spent so much time interviewing people that are long gone and documenting Keizer's early history, and we're very grateful for her diligence in doing that. And then, as you mentioned in my biography, about Evelyn Melson Franz, she was so inspiring to me to meet growing up in Keizer since she was 5 years old and going to the old Keizer school. So she documented her history and just helped implement the founding of the Keizer Heritage Museum and cataloging items and recording and preserving those things. So we're very thankful for all these women and many more. They've been inspiring, and their legacies are even in places where we can visit, like the schools named after them. And of course, there's many other women we could honor and note here, but how to keep it down to a timeline here. So those are a few that I wanted to highlight tonight, and maybe some new names that you hadn't thought about that had important roles. So I brought along brochures of our museum, and then also what you received here, even though it's not a woman, but our Thomas Dove Keizer, but thinking about his wife that allowed him to do all the things he did. We are going to be at the Oregon State Capitol in August. Our exhibit that was presented here at City Hall in November of 24 now will be from August 3rd to 28th at the Oregon State Capitol. So we're really pleased to have that finally happening, as it was delayed with the retrofitting for seismic construction at the Capitol. But we will be able to present that, and August 3rd is a opening reception, so everybody's invited to come to that. I don't know if it had the time on here. 5 p.m. Perfect. Or actually, I'm not sure that day. I'll have to double check on that one. But anyways, that's an exciting thing for Keizer to be at the Oregon State Capitol. So we're very pleased to have that honor there. And thank you very much for having me tonight.
Well, thank you so much. This has been very informational, and to everybody who wants to learn more, definitely check out the Keizer Heritage Museum at the Keizer Cultural Center and the tremendous work that you and all of your colleagues have done to make sure we have good records and a great telling of our history for Keizer. Any questions for Ms. Weil? With that, I would like to read the proclamation and ask you to accept a copy on behalf of the city that could be on display at the Keizer Heritage Museum. Let me get that up here. The proclamation reads as follows. Whereas in the human experience of civilization, exploration, invention, and governance, men and women have worked together, yet, as noted by President Jimmy Carter, quote, "Too often the women were unsung and sometimes their contributions went unnoticed. but the achievements, leadership, courage, strength, and love of the women who built America was as vital as that of the men whose names we know so well." End quote. And whereas the United Nations has sponsored International Women's Day since 1975, quote, "to recognize the fact that securing peace and social progress and the full enjoyment of human rights and fundamental freedoms requires the active participation, equality, and development of women, and to acknowledge the contribution of women to the strengthening of international peace and security," end quote. And whereas the 2026 theme for International Women's Day on March 8th is "Give to Gain," which emphasizes the power of reciprocity and support. When people, organizations, and communities give generously, opportunities and support for women increase. Giving is not a subtraction, it's an intentional multiplication. When women thrive, we all rise. And whereas the 2026 theme for Women's History Month is "Leading the Change, Women Shaping a Sustainable Future," this theme honors the women who have and are reimagining and rebuilding systems to ensure long-term sustainability, environmental, economic, education, and societal. And whereas the City of Keizer recognizes that the celebration of Women's History Month promotes the health, well-being, and success of women and girls worldwide, now therefore the Keizer City Council, assembled here in regular session, does hereby proclaim March 2026 as Women's History Month. And we encourage all the people of Keizer to celebrate, honor, and promote the achievements of girls and women in our community, our state, nation, and world. Women's History Month. Would you guys want to gather up and we'll do a presentation in front here and we can get a photograph? Tammy, do you want to come up here? In addition, women in the audience, would you all come forward and join us in this picture?
I'm gonna turn into Barbie Land.
Come on up. You didn't know you were going to be on camera. No. Come on up.
I'll just hide on the train. You'll see one cheek.
All right, we got you all there? Okay.
One cheek, here we go. Holy crap, which camera are we looking at? It's just hard to move my eyeballs.
Oh, we do? Yeah. I'm sorry. Terry?
Oh,
Melissa? Peggy?
One in the corner.
okay, it's too hard for Peggy to get up. It's too hard.
Thank you for calling out. All right.
Again?
Yes.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you all very much.
Why don't you want the display to put on the sofa table in front of the desk? Go, Tammy, go. That's great.
Thank you all for participating in that group activity. But also, more importantly, thank you to Tammy Wild for that presentation, and we encourage everybody to continue to learn about the women who have made Keizer what it is today. And speaking of young women who are making Keizer what it is today, it is now my pleasure to bring forward this year's If I Were Mayor contest winner for the essay contest, Michelle Ashen Imoroa, I'm sorry, I mispronounced, from Whitaker Middle School. And if you want to come up here to the microphone, I've invited her to read her essay to us tonight. And we will then submit that to the Oregon Mayors Association for the statewide contest. Congratulations, Michelle, and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you. My name is Michelle, and I'm here today. Being a mayor is super important because they help identify problems in our community and encourage people to do what's right. They run meetings, talk about city issues, and handle everything with honesty. If I were the mayor, I would do everything I could to make my awesome city, Keizer, a better place for everyone. I'd focus on giving kids opportunities to learn skills for their future jobs and work on keeping Keizer clean. One big issue we have in Keizer is homelessness, and I know a lot of people need help. According to Oregon Housing and Community Services, Oregon has one of the highest rates of homelessness in the country. And between 2015 and 2019, our state grew a lot, but it didn't build enough new homes to help. We need around 100,000 more housing units across the state to help out. If I were mayor, I would make it a top priority to create safe places for those in need. These buildings would offer shelter, food, and a chance for people to get back on their feet. We can make this happen by using our city budget wisely and showing that we care about our community. Together, we can make a big difference in many lives. I also want to talk about recycling in our town. Did you know, according to the Department of Environmental Quality in Marion County, about 10 to 30% of trash gets thrown in recycling bins? That's called wishful recycling. It happens when people put stuff in recycling bin, hoping that it can be recycled, even when it can't. This can mess up the recycling process, and a lot of these items end up in landfills instead. We really need to pay attention to what can and can't be recycled to help create a cleaner environment. As mayor, I provide trash can every other corner so that people will have to walk a long way to trash their disposals. I have an exciting idea for our kids that could really change our future. You know how everyone says we the people? Well, I've noticed that kids, especially under 21, are usually what left out of that. If I were the mayor, I'd create a program called Mini City. This would give kids the chance to learn about different jobs from a young age. They would even get to vote for a kid mayor who would meet with the real mayor every week to learn what it's like to be in that position. This way, kids can start learning about what they need to do when they grow up. And let's not forget about the fun. It's important to connect with our neighbors because knowing the people around us makes our city better. When I walk around my neighborhood, I see some friendly faces and some people who like to keep to themselves. If I were the mayor, I organize a monthly get-together at one of our parks. This event would be open to everyone and would be a great chance to have fun and connect. We could set up games and everyone could bring some snacks to share. Kids could run around and play while adults talk and get to know each other. By coming together like this, we can really build a strong community and have a good time. Let's make an effort to connect with one another. Even though there have been recent cuts in government funding, I'm still hopeful about improving our public spaces. These times are tough, but I believe in the power of community. If the government isn't able to help, we can come together and fill that gap. I'll lead a donation campaign to support our important projects. Together, we can make a difference and create a brighter future for everyone. If I were mayor, I would do my best to make these changes happen. They might seem big, but they're really important. With my ideas, we can build a better community, clean up our environment, and make our city a great place for everyone. Who wouldn't want something like that? It's pretty awesome.
Bravo.
Thank you.
So stand by. I do have your certificate and love to present this to you. Again, Michelle Ashon Imoroa. It's a beautiful essay. Well done. Congratulations. So that essay will be forwarded to the Oregon Mayors Association and entered in the statewide contest. The Mayors Association Conference in August, the statewide winners will be announced. And just to remind everybody, last year, Colin Vossler took third place statewide. So I think that Michelle's essay has a very good shot at placing in the top 3 for the state this year. Again, congratulations, very well done. Councillor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Michelle, just as a note, we do have a monthly get-together. It's called the Keizer Community Dinner. We do it on the 4th Wednesday of every month except December. You're welcome to come and partake of a meal with us. It's held at St. Edward Catholic Church. A bunch of different churches get together and community groups get together to put that on. So come on down and enjoy.
Thank you for reminding everybody of that. Fantastic. And speaking of a very important part of the city of Keizer is our Keizer Community Library. It's my pleasure to welcome up Barbara Miner.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, city councilors. I hope you got your report online. I was late with it. I apologize. So this is a report for the year, the calendar year of 2025. That is our fiscal year still, where we will eventually change it to be the same as the city. But in 2025, we had a higher income than ever before, $67,000, higher expenses, just a little bit more, and we did a lot more work. We're very proud of what we did in the community, and this report was originally 27 pages, so, you know, I cut it back for you. The first section is the actual money spent. The city granted us $30,000 in their this current fiscal year, and we spend it on contracts that we need to write. We cannot in good faith hire someone to work as our manager saying, we can pay you if there's a donations in December, right? So this amount of money that is granted from the city allows us to have continuity and to, in good faith, write the contracts that keep our library running. And are not the exciting things that grantors want to write grants for. So the dollars are there. We also, in addition to funds, we have about 70 active volunteers. We worked 6,200 volunteer hours last year, which is, 3 FTE. You need to get some volunteer policemen over there. Well, maybe not. We have been supported, the Keizer Community Library thanks the community for supporting us in multiple ways. We have donations in our library. We have people coming to our book sale. We added $30,000 value of books to our collection inside the library from donated books. So a lot of libraries buy books, and we put nice, almost new books that are donated onto our shelves. We have some books that have no waiting list that were purchased for us by donors off the list of the longest waiting list that Salem Keizer has. Salem Keizer Library has. If there's 67 books on the list, then we try and get that book into our library so you can get it off our shelves. Additionally, we had books donated for the book sale. We give away a lot of books for prizes for our kids' activities. We have all the supplies for our children's crafts are donated. We had this year a back-to-school fiesta, 50 donated backpacks filled with school supplies from different people who were given away by our bilingual outreach committee. We had other printer, 2 computers, and a microwave donated. So thank you very much. Then our new programs. This is what we're excited. about. We probably signed up for more than we should have, but we did it all. We installed 2 new children's computers in January of 2025, and these were purchased with grant funds, and they focus on literacy and early reading and mathematics in Spanish and English. They're touchscreen computers, and they have things like follow the ABCs with your finger, and at the end it has a picture of a fire truck that has whistles and drives off the stage and gives you the next one. The kids love them. The parents are sometimes confused, but that's okay. We had a grant to buy new picture books for kids and deliver them to preschools in Keizer. And we had some activities around that, and we had some story times. The money ran out, but we have the books, and the volunteers are continuing to do that. So we don't have much space, we don't have much money, but we have a lot of books. And we deliver them and pick them up monthly at Keizer preschools, also at the Boys and Girls Club that's at Kennedy schools. So we are sharing the books that have been donated to us with kids in our community. We have Read to a Dog is now offered every Saturday. We have 2 dogs. You have to sign up for this. Call the library to sign up. Both of our dogs are multilingual, so that's not a problem. Our bilingual outreach program was on steroids this year, blossomed into a huge community, a larger community resource than we've ever had. We sponsored 5 large bilingual events at the library, on the patio, or in the event center. Combined attendance, all these events are free and bilingual, and we had over 470 people attend these events, which is amazing for our library. We've never had that kind of events. And we started a Spanish morning story time every week, which became a community of families. The kids want to come to the story time. 2 quick stories. One, some of them want to celebrate their birthday there, so they bring in birthday cakes and sometimes tamales, and they celebrate in the library. We went on the patio. A lot of these are in the summer, but we also had these girls are like kindergartners, and they decided they wanted to act out the stories, not just read them. So the Keizer Homegrown Theater loaned us their theater space, and every now and then there's kindergarten girls putting on book plays in Spanish, and that's something we're all very proud of. And then, of course, we have our the thing we've always done, Wednesday morning English story time. We have craft days on the library, some weekdays with no school, like spring break, Veterans Day. We have summer events every Wednesday. This summer, we had more than 500 participants. Those are mostly out on the patio or in the event center. And we have summer and winter reading clubs where we give away lots of books. Okay. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right.
But we're just rocking and rolling.
Thank you very much. Councillor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for coming and reporting. There are a lot of really good things that happen in the library. So tell us about the upcoming book sale. When are the book sales?
The book sale is May. I believe it's soon. It's Friday and Saturday, the 13th, 14th, whenever.
Is it Keizer Fest weekend?
I believe it's Keizer Fest weekend, yes. And
So
it's in the event
16th.
center. We will have 6,000 books for sale. We have never raised our prices. They're 50 cents for pocketbooks and $1 for a hardback. And yes, come on over.
All right, anything further? All right. Oh, Council President Starr?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have the honor and privilege of serving as the council liaison to the Community Library Board. So I just want to brag for a few minutes, if I can. You said a few things that were music to my ears, and the first one is I wanted to highlight the collaboration that that the library has with with our community, really. But I think hearing about the homegrown theater, Keizer Homegrown Theater, offering up their space for the youngsters to act out the stories, I think that's two things, many things, not just two, but when it highlights the support that the library has from other organizations in Keizer in the collaboration, but it also, our library and our theater to partnering together to ignite perhaps a love of theater.
It's all four.
Yeah, it's all just it's so organic, and so I just wanted to highlight that because I think that's an important thing that I don't want our community to miss. And number two, I want to brag on Max. I think it is. I know
Yes.
you have two dogs that come in. Max is a certified I think he's a therapy dog. And he, Jane Downing, who retired as the longtime executive director of Center for Hope and Safety, our domestic violence shelter and services, has chosen to drive from far South Salem into Keizer to our community library with Max, to support the work that our library is doing and to support these kids. And so I think it speaks volumes that we have someone with Jane's experience and her just her longevity in the nonprofit world, choosing to come to Keizer to support Keizer Community Library. So I just wanted to brag on that for a minute. And then if you've all met Max, Max is just,
Chill.
he is just the sweetest, so.
Counselor Christopher?
I just want to reiterate, and Barb can testify to this, that we all work so well together. There's 4 nonprofits. Robin, thank you. There's 4 nonprofits at the Keizer Cultural Center, and the library uses the research room in the museum for their meetings. And if it's the big meeting, they use the classroom upstairs. If they have chess club or whatever is going on and they need more space, it's in the classroom. But we all just get along and accommodate and try to get as much community in there as possible. Here's my question. Did you tell us how many visitors you had last year? Did you say that?
It's on the chart. 12,200, I believe, is the
That's
number, and it
right.
was a 9% increase. I skipped over 12,220 people, excuse me, and it was 11% increase over last year. Yeah. 12,000 people. Have you
And-
seen our library? We're tiny, but
Yeah,
we,
teeny
you know,
tiny,
we
but all
bring in
of
one
the
at a time.
nonprofits
And
have got
I am an
increased
engineer. I'm
attendance.
really big on metrics. That does not include anyone that goes to our events. Those are people in the library.
Oh.
They don't don't have to check out a book. They can use our computers or, just look around.
So how do you count the people at the events? Because that's in addition.
Well, that is less exact because someone stands in the back and does this.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay, do you have that information as well?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I don't need it now. I'll need it for our annual report.
I have a spreadsheet, Lori. I can give you month by
I know
month.
you can, Barb.
All right.
I'm just proud of him,
Me too.
super proud.
It's good to bring good news, right?
Yeah.
I don't,
So
don't
I've
have any problems
got
here.
one more question, and that was, the conversation about public library status. Right now, Keizer Community Library continues to be a community library, and there's been the discussion on the 50% threshold for being able to apply for library status. And I'm noting that the budget for, as you reported here, you had expenses of 68,600, so 50% would be 34,300. 34,300. Can you talk a little bit about the process, where you're at, and what the board is anticipating for this coming year?
Absolutely. We have plans. But first I want to say, if we become a public library, which will be good for us and have access to new resources, we are still going to be in spirit a community library. We are in Keizer. We want to help the kids of Keizer. So there's that. So, the calendar year is not the exact numbers of the fiscal year, which is what they deal with. We withdrew from our application to become a state public library last June when we looked at the numbers and we didn't make that 50%. So we are reapplying. At the end of March, we're going to present our numbers to the state committee and with a projected donations for 3 months, however that works. And we are in better shape this year. We had some very good, very large grants in 2024. So we think we have met all the criteria again, and we expect to be accepted as a public library July 1st.
That is wonderful news. We'll be wishing you all the best in that effort, and thank you for the follow-through on that. I have one more question. Friends of the Community Library, of Keizer Community Library. So this is a new organization to support our library. Can you talk on that, or is there someone else that would be able to update us?
So this is our goal, to maintain these events and our bilingual grant writing that to support things that aren't supported by Keizer City Council and our own donations. And the Friends of Keizer Library will be a separate not-profit organization that will write grants, accept grants, and then pay for the things that the library needs out of those grants. That is the goal, and we are aiming toward that. As we all know, things happen, and it's not all done.
Mm-hmm. It's in progress. It's a work in progress.
It's work in progress. We're working on it diligently, and we see that as the answer to continue to have more events at the library than we can afford with 30,000 plus 30,000 of donations. Yes.
Okay. All right. So if people want to know more about the library itself or about the emerging Friends of Keizer Library, should they get a hold of Keizer Community Library and they can find out all that?
Our email is info@keizerlibrary.org. That will get anything answered. If you want a copy of our lovely report, it has pictures. You can send a note.
We got an email, but that will be in the record that's posted online as well, so people can see it. Any other questions for Ms. Miner? All right, thank you so much. Appreciate it. So if you're doing some early spring cleaning and there are books and other materials that you would like to donate, please take them to the Keizer Community Library for the spring book sale. That is all I have for our special orders of business tonight. We're going to go to committee reports, and we're going to lead off with Matt Lawyer to talk about parks and the Civic Center cleanup. And Clark Creek Watershed Council.
All right, good evening, Madam Mayor, Council, and staff. For the record, Matt Lawyer. First hat tonight is the Keizer Parks and Rec Committee met last week. We got to do 2 grants. The first one was for the Peggy and Jerry Moore Community Garden. Peggy does such a great job stewarding the work of that community garden year after year, adding value year after year. And she came in this year for a $250 grant, and we didn't think that was appropriate. So we gave her not to exceed $600 because she is able to get a tremendous amount of donations and time and materials for that project. And then we ended up asking the question of Carrie as to whether or not it's appropriate within the park grant dollars or some other avenue to just set aside an annual amount of about $1,000 that could be split among both community gardens. We never actually, in my 10 years on the Parks Board, we've never got anything from Mike Whittam Park. So whether or not they're going to want to access that money or not, but I think Carrie's going to look into the feasibility of that, because I don't think you can put a dollar amount on the amount of value that community garden brings in terms of teaching the kids and teaching people about gardening and having that space. And then the amount of stuff that goes to the food bank, frankly, is really, really good. So we asked the question, we'll see what they come back with. The second grant was for Keizer Rotary Satellite Club. We purchased about $5,500 in new equipment for volunteer projects, shovels, rakes, hard rakes, soft rakes, all kinds of things, 10 wheelbarrows, et cetera, with the intent of asking the Parks Department for a matching grant to build a volunteer shed. And the idea here is to consolidate materials and have materials available at a moment's notice for volunteer projects. What we found is sometimes getting stuff together is really tough because the parks guys have it in their trucks or they have what's left and not broken in the parks shed. And so sometimes getting what's appropriate and necessary to make the volunteer experience one that people want to come back to is really tough. And so we had the means to be able to do that. And so I guarantee we're not going to spend $6,000. I think we're going to be well under $4,000 when it's all said and done, because rather than having somebody come build it for us, we'll probably put it together ourselves because we'll save $2,000 doing that. So very thankful for City Manager Aaron Brown and Robert for kind of allowing us to explore this idea. I think it's a very mutually beneficial opportunity for all of our volunteers that need that kind of equipment to do good work. Going into the master plan, we had a really, really robust discussion about the master plan. What we settled on as a consensus, we didn't make any final recommendation, is the Parks Board feels really good about Area B, which is up where the dog park's at. We've asked staff to look at the feasibility of identifying a dedicated development space or activity center that's going to be drawn potentially within the master plan area at Keizer Rapids. We had a conversation about limiting development size. So at 147 acres, we're seeing if it's appropriate to put a limit of 10 to 15% of the total 147 acres to say that no development outside of that can happen. We've also found it very important to call it either the indoor or indoor covered activity center rather than the pavilion. I think the pavilion language tended to shift people's attention in one way versus another, and considering the fact that we have no idea what this could be 10, 15 years down the road, getting a label outside of a pavilion is very helpful. One of the things that we heard loud and clear is that if it goes in Area B, we absolutely shall move the dog park. And I think that's a given because we absolutely do not want to lose that regional asset for Keizer Rapids Park. So again, these are all these are all consensus comments. We did table the item for March simply because we got some last minute additions from the consultant just before the meeting. And I think the board felt it was appropriate to give time for us to go back and digest that material, but also allow for the community to digest that material as well. And so talk to Carrie about it and we'll bring it back in April. And hopefully by then we'll have the final recommendation on it. But I just want to take a second to thank the council for taking this back to the community. I know in November when we first looked at this, we weren't ready. And we've had some really good discussions over the course of the last few months. And I think it was necessary, it was right. And I just appreciate City Manager Aaron Brown and Bill before Carrie, now Carrie and Robert for kind of carrying the torch on that and helping us get to a place where this is a community conversation from all of the neighbors. And I think we're on a trajectory towards something much more positive than we would have been if we would have stopped in November, in my opinion. But let's see. So Councilor Kohler did what he does, and he reminded me of the things that I should say and I didn't say. And I'm never at a loss for words typically, but I failed to thank the Parks Board and the council for the Gold Star thing. I forgot that we hadn't met in February, but I just want to say again on the record, thank you to all of you. It's so cool to know that that's done. To have that dedication ceremony on February 7th was so special. 300 people in the pouring down rain. I don't know if you could have scripted it better. It set the tone for what was an incredible event, and I am just, the most humbling piece I think was talking to Dr. Harris, the CEO, and he says, these don't happen that fast. The average is about 5 years. We did it in 18 months. Keizer did it in 18 months. And so I just wanted to say thank you all for getting behind it. I didn't know, apparently a couple of additional plaques were presented at council, and so if I would have known they were going to come and do it from here, I would have given you all a heads up, but hey, it's good to be recognized. So everybody stepped in, did great work, and I'm just so appreciative of you all for getting in there and making that happen. So that's all I got on parks. Unless there's any questions, I'll go to the Civic Center cleanup.
Councilor Christopher?
Thank you. So, how many, first of all, I love the idea of memorializing in the master plan that development of that park will not exceed 15%. I really love that idea because I know that a lot of neighbors were fearful from the southernmost portion and the west that at some point encroachment would happen. And that was, as you're aware, back in 2006, that was never the intention. The intention was to keep the most significant part of that park green and pristine. So I love that idea, Matt. That is a guarantee. Once it's in the master plan, that's going to be much more difficult for anyone to change in the future and to go away from that initial meaning when we had over 500 people tell us green and pristine for the majority of that park. So I thank you for that. I also like the name, the Covered Activity Center. I think that's a great idea.
It just seems
So,
neutral.
good
I
job.
think, actually, Rhonda Rich, Councilor Christopher, I'm sorry, Rhonda Rich brought in, this is what a pavilion is, and we were clearly not talking about just one thing, and frankly, we're not talking about a thing, we're talking about a yes or no. And so I thought it was really great that Rhonda brought it in. And so, it was loud and clear from everybody that testified last week that preserving as much green space as humanly possible is necessary. And I don't think there was a single person on the Parks Board that disagreed with that.
And we can coexist.
Yeah.
We all that, and lots of folks that I've talked with said, why is everything jammed together? Intentional.
Right.
Intentional. We wanted the activity center to be where all the activity takes place so that the majority of the park could remain green and pristine.
Well, and I think
we did it intentionally.
Well, and to add to that, I think, if I may, Madam Mayor, I think one of the most important things is consolidating parking and sharing parking where it's appropriate and not just building one-off parking lots. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
We hear often from the multimodal community about parking. And I just think, if a thing says you need 100 parking spots, but they can co-locate it and share 50, then you only have to build 50. And if you can co-locate it and share 75, then you only have to share 25. Obviously, there's overruns and there's things that have to happen, but if you plan it right, it should become a self-licking ice cream cone. So.
Okay.
My computer keeps going dark.
That's okay.
Anyway, I just wanted to thank you for that and just to encourage you that limitation makes it into your final recommendation so that it's memorialized in the master plan. That's going to give a lot of people more peaceful nights.
And there was one other note, Madam Mayor, if I may. David Philbrick came in. He's been asking about, and I get the park wrong. I think it's Northridge. What is it? Yeah. It's the one that nobody knows where it's at. It's behind Rite Aid and whatever.
Yeah.
So he's visited this conversation again. It's been a few years since he's asked, but we don't necessarily have very good public access. There's private property that surround it, and
Very good. We have none.
Right. And so Carrie heard it, David Loudon as a surveyor is willing to have a conversation with Mr. Philbrick, but right now, until we have access via private property or obtain easements, there's just not really a way to access it. So I did want to be a good steward of his comment and bring that forward, but right now there's not a whole heck of a lot we can do with it, so.
Right, and at one point, we did have access, and, I'm not sure what happened, that's, I think, before my time.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what happened to that, but that was then, this is now, so to figure out going forward that, a park with no access is kind of an odd duck, so probably need to solve that. But I want to circle back to the Keizer Rapids Park Master Plan. So with the language that you're discussing for the concentrated activity area, what would that do, or would it change anything regarding something like the disc golf course, which is 18 baskets in the, outside that area, and they have, I think you guys provided a grant for additional baskets. I want to make sure that we're not creating a conflict.
We're calling that Lisa's asterisk. It's a joke. She brought it up, and it's an important piece because it is developed. You know,
Well, not really.
It's developed.
It hasn't
It's
touched
developed in the
that.
sense that there is concrete. You know, there is parking to access that whole back area, the entire trail system. You know, I think it's a great question. There's people that are a lot smarter than me that can probably figure out how to make sure that that happens. But I think the reality of it is, I don't think it's going to go so far beyond the scope and add so many things. Those footprints are generally very small. Now, the access to those footprints becomes a big deal because you're carving out sort of natural paths and stuff through that. And frankly, those discs are heavy and they get thrown quickly, and you don't want to get pegged in the head with one of them. So Lisa did bring that up. We joke, we call it the Lisa asterisk because it's like the activity center, and also there's this disc golf thing that happens over here. And I think in the spirit of what we did with the boat ramp, where we drew the area around the boat ramp, it's probably wise to say, you know, that area around the parking for the disc golf, and then if we can geotag the areas where the actual nets are, then I think that's appropriate. Because then if it needs to be replaced later on as an asset or something granted in the future as an asset, then it's in keeping with the activity center, and it's codified in the master plan as something that can carry forward as future activity.
Well, and a follow-up on that is that last year it was reported that there were over 31,000 rounds played.
Right.
And that the organization does not only trail maintenance, but they also,
Invasive species, yeah.
yeah, they do
Yeah.
native species. They do a tremendous amount of work in that natural area that
Yeah.
has actually enhanced the health of that
Correct.
ecosystem. So I think we want to make sure that whatever language is in any recommendation does not preclude or become a conflict for something that is already well accepted and well-done use of the park outside of this high-intensity area.
And keeps it green and pristine.
Can we do like a second asterisk, also thou shalt maintain?
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know if they had talked about adding another 18 baskets, so I don't know if that's happening or not, but want to make sure we're okay there. And thank you for bringing up the boat ramp, because that is again,
That's right.
slightly separate. So we want to make sure that whatever definitions get into the final document, that we don't cut ourselves off at the knees about what is already there and working well.
One more comment.
Counselor Christopher?
Could your recommendation be maximum flexibility? This is the last
Yeah, yeah.
time we'd like to spend $25,000 to $30,000 to bring back a consultant to tell us how we blew it the first time. We'd like to not do that again. And I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying, if you could put, you know, we want as flexible as possible language so that whoever comes after us, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, when we're no longer in this room making these decisions, there's enough flexibility in that master plan that the folks that need that flexibility can have it.
I mean, to directly answer your question, I think that's why we tabled it, frankly, because there was some work that, based off of the conversations with the Parks Board, that needed to come back. And I think that the city manager and Carrie and Robert are very capable of wrapping their heads around and providing back to the board, ultimately, the framework for what I think should be a really good recommendation.
Great.
It makes the most sense to be as flexible as possible, right? Because like, who would have thought
Yes.
10 years ago we were talking pickleball,
Exactly.
right?
Perfect example.
Well, yeah, who knew that pickleball, and quite frankly, the first time somebody brought up sand volleyball in Oregon,
yeah.
I laughed out loud, color me wrong, on the popularity of that, but I think that speaks also to the desires of the future, of future people.
Right.
Will be different than today, and changes that were made a few years ago were made by the people who were here and participated, and it's okay to question and update. So do I think this is gonna be the last time this is ever looked at? I doubt it, because there are some sports that probably we haven't heard of yet that will want to come into the park. Who knows?
Well, I think it's also important to know, like even 10 years ago, we were consolidating multi-sport activities to the extent possible to get as much out of a sports court as possible, simply because the money just didn't exist. We're still doing that to the extent that it's appropriate, but we're not sort of cornered into that anymore. So we had 3 sports on one court. We had basketball, tennis, and pickleball. I'm sorry, but I don't, if you're looking at the lines, it was very confusing, and it actually made it very
Yeah.
difficult for people to play. And so you're absolutely right. I think we've got the flexibility, and again, I think with what Adam and Carrie and Robert can bring back, I have all the confidence in the world that we're gonna have the foundation of a really, really good staff report that'll ultimately become, I think, enough information for the Parks Board to make a good recommendation one way or another.
Thank you. Council President Starr, you had a question?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is for Mr. Brown. This work on amending, hiring the consultant to amend the master plan is a result of getting a grant from the county. Are we under a timeline to get this project done and report back to the county? I'm just being sensitive because I'm doing it in my head. It's March, it was tabled to not for anything that the Parks Board did. So if they revisit it in April, it might be May, maybe, if it comes back to us, and then we're in the middle of budget, and so all the things.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. The Community Prosperity Initiative grant is a 3-year grant. So, and we have $60,000 total. So for the amount for this part of the study, we're well under the timeline.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, Matt.
All right,
Thank you.
switching
All right,
gears, if
next
we're good?
one.
Okay,
Yep.
so, if you haven't noticed, the space around here looks a little different. Last Friday, we had a bunch of people. First off, I gotta shout out Earth Tech, Fabian Lopez. They brought out 10 guys, right off the bat, and they just went to work, trimming everything. We had a bunch of, folks that should actually show up for the trimming. Gotta thank Councilor Kohler, Chief, Adam Brown, he's dangerous with one of those power saws. It was, he gave all the break room area, that's all Adam. So I don't know what happened to his hair, but he's really, really good at making things look nice and shaped. I got you. Jeff Anderson, Rick, Don, Joe Egley, it was good to see him back. Ulysses, all came out and did a really good job. We got all of the trimming done in about an hour. The previous year, we were at 4.5 hours. Of course, there was only 5 of us.
We're getting better.
I'm sorry?
We're getting better.
Well, yeah, in some ways. You know, it was tough though, because this year we had the lowest turnout of volunteers we had since before COVID. But despite that, we still crushed it. And we were done, I think we left the site here just about 3 o'clock. And there was a couple of us that had to come back yesterday and do a little more leaf blowing, but we templated something this year, and I got to give a huge shout out to Lauren Sanitation, because they called and they asked, they said, what would your dream be? And I was like, oh man, 150 volunteers. I want garbage trucks on Bailey and Rickman. We'll do the normal one down here in the center, and we'll just feed those beasts from the front areas here and around the corner, which it worked-ish, because we didn't just have the bodies to keep the flow going on it. But it was really helpful because it changed the congestion at the green bin, or the main bin here. I don't think Tim was nearly as exhausted this year as he has been in years past. And frankly, I think it took about half the debris away from the main. I think we were about 50%, yeah? So about 50% of the material did go to those garbage trucks. It just didn't flow as precisely as we had hoped, but I think given the people that showed up, everybody that's sitting on the dais right now from the council was there, and I'm very appreciative. No small job. Everybody that was there had something to do, and everything that was done mattered. Shane was there, Joe was there, Adam with his big hands. Like, if you don't get a chance to see Adam with his big yellow paws, it's a great sight. It's like Pac-Man, angry Pac-Man out there just digging stuff up. And then Garrett, I think you were there, yes. And I walked by you probably 15 times, and I'm sorry I didn't recognize you, and I apologize for not acknowledging while you were there. But it was a great event. I'm very thankful for everybody that showed up. You know, just a tremendous amount of work, and very, very pleased that we got that done this weekend. Beautiful day for it. Absolutely beautiful day.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And Madam Mayor, while I appreciate you called out Keizer Rotary Satellite Club for this project, it's actually still Keizer Rotary's project. And so the credit does have to go to Rotary. It is their project. The Satellite Club just gets to partner with them and do that. So it is very important that the Rotary gets the appropriate recognition on that one. Lastly, with Watershed, May is coming up, and so soon I'll be putting in the permit for Saturday in the Park. We'll be doing that over Memorial Day weekend. we're going big this year. So I'm working with Jane Lowry from Willamette Valley Bank, and we've already been putting out a call for sponsors for this year's event. And we are asking vendors to come out. So in the past, we've had the folks from the Heritage Center, the Arts Group, everybody come out, bring out booths, bring out information. We don't sell anything because that changes the permit and makes it more complicated. But we're really hoping to just knock it out of the park this year. It is going to be after Keizer Fest, and so it'll be just another weekend. But for those people that don't leave for Memorial Day, it's a fantastic weekend. We've seen year after year after year, they really, really appreciate this opportunity. It sounds like we're going to have the jet boat back again this year. We'll have the backhoe. Chief's coming up with something really good with his officers and cadets that are going to be out there, right, Chief? Yep. We haven't talked yet. I talked to Chief Russell over at Keizer Fire, and so he's coming up with something great. And so we're just really trying to encourage a big turnout, because again, the whole point of this is for a free event. We're looking for food vendors that are going to be willing to take a very small donation to come and provide the free food and everything. But really looking forward to that this Memorial Day. So
All
I've
right.
been up here a long time. Is there
So
any more
mark your
questions?
calendars for, I believe it's May 23rd. Yes, I'm
Something,
getting
yeah.
a head nod from the back.
What's it called again? Soggy Bottom?
Soggy Day in the Park.
Just Soggy Day?
Yes, ma'am. Which, Dorothy Deal named that the first year that we did it, and we've never had rain.
And it's which day?
It's the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend.
Oh,
Did he really just say that?
What's that?
It's never rained?
That's why I knocked.
yeah, you don't
Okay,
say that
I
out.
missed a
That's
nod.
why I knocked.
That's why it's called Soggy Day at the Park.
Yep. So, it's a great event. I mean, I think 2 years ago, we had our biggest turnout. We had over 380 people throughout the day. And, it's fun.
Yeah.
Very, very, very grateful to do that project.
All right.
There it is.
Any questions on that? And for more information on the Soggy Day at the Park, should they contact you, the Clyde Creek Watershed Council? Who should they contact?
We'll be putting it on the Keizer Facebook, or the Clyde Creek Watershed Council Facebook page. They can reach out to me, or they can talk to Tammy. She's actually in charge. I'm just a minion now, so I love it. But yeah.
All right. All right, thank you very much. Mr. Merrill, come on down. You're up for the Keizer Public Arts Commission report.
James is our brand-new member, and he got the short straw to give this.
I just wanted to say, in the spirit of women's history, the committee is all women,
Except you.
except me, and I got nominated to report.
But we got another guy coming.
Yep.
Good. They're a wonderful group. God, I've been anticipating this report for a week. All right, well, yeah, I love it. It's a wonderful group. And I tried to volunteer here in Keizer. I got a certificate from Lori for being on the Parks Committee, but I don't think I did anything. Just,
Well, is this 100 years ago?
yeah.
Okay.
I like to ride bikes all over the town, and I probably thought I would help with that. But thanks for the certificate. Okay, the ladies told me to just read the minutes of our last meeting. Does that make sense?
Well, could you just give us the Reader's Digest?
Okay, there's a woman on the group named Becky Bonner, and she moved for the approval of unimportant. There were no extra interested people present. I underlined stuff that I thought might be valuable to say, but, okay, Councilor Christopher shared that the Keizer Art Association would be hanging a 10-foot by 10-foot quilt on their wall in the gallery. The quilt was made by a founding member of Keizer Art Association as a fundraiser in 1978. What I think is interesting, as an idiot, a resident of Keizer, I've been here since, I moved from Colorado, and I called to try to get a job with the BIA out on the coast somewhere, and I got hired at Chemawa over the phone, and I loved it. And so, anyway,
Sounds like it was meant to be. Counselor Christopher?
yes.
James, let me help you. So the
Please.
big thing we did was, there was a motion made and we adopted the master plan recommendation.
Yeah.
That is on tonight's agenda.
Oh,
And that had been about 18 months' worth of work. And how many meetings have you been to? 2, yes. And we threw him to the wolves.
yeah, I don't know anything.
Yeah. They threw you to the
I
wolves, for
love the
sure.
group, so,
There was no one that could make it tonight. So James was voluntold. And so, but that was the big thing. And I think that's the most important thing, as along with the stormwater program that is a collaboration between Keizer Public Arts Commission and Environmental Services.
Yes.
And that program has been rolled out. It got to be put into the recommendation of the master plan so that we could roll that out to the city, so that we can hopefully get that moving this summer. I think those are the 2 most important things that CAGPAC did on your last meeting.
okay, only rain down the drain.
Bingo.
I hit it.
You did. You remember that.
Yeah. Well, darn. They told me 5 minutes.
Oh, you're fine.
I don't think I've said anything in 5 minutes. What's fascinating to me is the location of art in the city and the impact, the atmospheric improvement. Atmosphere? I don't know what I mean. The community, the vibe of art, public art, in places that you see when you travel around Keizer. And it's just a nice, very nice atmospheric improvement. The utility box wraps, you've seen those. The storm drain art. And there's a lot of other intentions for art. A Weimar retaining wall, river themed. A Weimar side yard for horse sculptures.
These are ideas.
Copper Creek Mercantile for horse sculptures. I'm not sure what's going in at the 45th parallel. Is that the end of my time?
It is.
It is. Are you good?
I know you're happy about that.
Well, I like seeing the group, and I really appreciate the welcoming atmosphere of this and the Art Commission. Don Wilson was fantastic working with me. And Adam Brown, outstanding. It's like good to see another male in the group. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so
Thanks,
much for
Jim.
joining us tonight. And we will be addressing the master plan later on in our agenda. That is everybody I have signed up for committee reports. Is there any other committee report that I missed? Come on down. Robin Barney.
You forgot what you were going to say already?
No, I just didn't have a form.
Oh, whoops, sorry about that.
Yeah,
You know us newspaper people.
yes, I do.
Thank you. Robin Barney, the Keizer Community Diversity Engagement Committee. It was my turn to come. We had a long meeting this last month.
A person of interest was Jackie Green from the Keizer Greater Northeast Neighborhood Association, and she filled us in on what Chief Copeland had presented to them as far as a number of arrests in the area, how they're taking care of rioting cases with the youth, and the number of calls they get. And they have also, he also shared with them services and fees and how it was gonna be a little different for commercial and residential people. Our guest speaker was Hazel Lemon. She was from, is from the Keizer branch of the Boys and Girls Club. And she shared with us what they do here in Keizer. On an average, they get about 42 students on a daily basis. And during the, it changes seasonally, probably more in the summer, a little less in the winter. And she went over some of the things that they did there. They do a lot of science and crafting activities and physical activities. And when one of our committee members asked, what do we do about homework and do we help them with their studies? I was kind of surprised to find out that they incorporate learning in all of their activities. So in the science, they're learning about science, but they're also learning about math and other things, as well as in the different craft activities. They're also learning math, science, and of course, getting along with each other. And their biggest goal is making sure that the staff and the students and the families that attend there, they have a good relationship. So they've got a good bead on each child who comes in there, what their needs are or are not. Okay, we also approached the joint work session action items on there, for the 2025-2026 year. And we went over what our accomplishments were in 2025, which you'll hear more from Tammy Coons when she gives our report later. And also what we plan to do with some hard dates in 2026. We did discuss some of those things that we did. We're in the process of finishing up. One of those things is a video for the volunteer committee. And we invited them to come and talk to us about their challenges. And we, as the committee, decided we would help them with McNary High School in developing and partnering to develop a video to teach residents and other people in the area how to become a volunteer here. What do each of those definitions mean? What are each of the different committees? What do you do? Lengths of time, those kinds of things will be approached in the video itself.
Love it.
It was a concern that they thought the video was actually for the CDC committee, but it's not. It is totally for the volunteer committee to use. And hopefully CDC will go ahead and get a couple of volunteers after that. We also talked about our RAC cards that have been developed for the city and CDC. The language and the cards have been revised, I believe, for the last time and have come to the city council or have come to you for final approval and then printing.
Yeah.
The goal is to get these cards in all of our committee members' hands, and we just put them everywhere we go. We'll just drop a couple, ask if we can put them on bulletin boards, that kind of thing, just making sure that everybody knows who we are and what we do. We also discussed in 2025 about taking a few of our meetings off campus. The reasoning for that was that we have people in the community that feel this is kind of an ominous building or a little nervous to come into the city council. So our first off-site meeting is with the Keizer Fire Department on April 2nd. We will still start at 6 o'clock, and I believe Tim Woods has sewn up all of the details that we need to have and equipment we need to have there. We also talked about Blast Camp, and we had one committee member who wanted to partner with them to help with a barbecue, and again, that we could have information there as well. We have learned now that Blast Camp is going to convert back to...
Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I'll talk faster next time.
Yeah. Hey, Robin, finish up on Blast Camp. if you would.
Because Blast Camp is going back to, how did they put it, to its old planning. I believe it went into the schools instead of being held at the park. So the barbecue is put on pause until we can find an activity where we could start it up.
Okay. So the blast camp, I'm looking at Chief, will be something that will be, go back to the format of having the activities with the 3rd through 6th graders? Is that?
Close.
Okay.
We're going to do 4th through 6th
through
graders,
6th.
entering 4th through entering 6th, June 29th through July 1st. And this is the first year we're kind of, the fire department is teaming up with us, so it's a co-sponsored event from us, Keizer Fire and Marion County Fire as well are going to be involved. And I'm not sure about Salem Fire, but I know that Marion County and Keizer for sure.
Okay. Wonderful. Look forward to more details on that coming out, and registration, we know that usually fills very quickly. Wonderful. Any questions for Ms. Barney?
Go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Any other committee reports? Neighborhood association reports? Aside from, thank you to the neighborhood associations for hosting the community conversation for the state of the city. I really appreciated the invitation and the conversation and the opportunity to have dialogue on things that are important to people of Keizer. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. Youth counselor, did you have anything to add tonight?
I think the only thing is last week we had our Victory Academy play, and I think it went well. So, yeah. It was on Betsy Ross. So.
I understand you had a leading role.
Yes.
Well done. All right, thank you. Counselor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I understand that there was some state competition fiddling recently.
I was not able to attend because I had other commitment, but yes, there was a fiddle contest. My brother Bradley got second in the older category because since he's won twice in the small fry, so that's, I believe, 8 and under, he was put in with the older kids from, I think it's 10 to 13. So, and he got second place, and there were 13 kids doing that. And then my older sister got 3rd place in the young adult group, which is from 18 to 36. So.
Whoa, that's a bit of a stretch range.
Yes.
18 to 36?
State competition.
Yes.
Wow.
So they are, well, Bradley is registered to go to the Weezer Fiddle Contest, which he already was, but he was able to give it to the second one that he got. He was able to give to another girl. So.
All right. Well, congratulations to our young musicians who continue to excel and represent Keizer so well. Thank you so much. All right, that concludes committee reports. This, we will now go to public comment. This time is provided for citizens to address the council on any matters other than those on the agenda scheduled for public hearing. We do not have any public hearings scheduled for this evening, and I do not have anybody signed up. Is there anyone who wanted to address the council on a matter of city business? Going once, going twice. Okay, sold. Let's go to the consent calendar. Our huge consent calendar is, Council President Starr.
Madam Mayor, it's long. Item A, approval of the March 2nd, 2026 regular session minutes.
Okay. Any reason to pull it? Okay.
I move that we adopt the consent calendar as read.
Second.
The consent calendar has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously with one absent. We have no public hearings, so we are now going to item 9A, administrative action. And item 9A is a resolution establishing classification of code compliance coordinator. City manager.
Thank you. Mr. Cleaver will have this item.
All right, Mr. Kleber.
And I think I might have to turn this over to Mr. Witham.
Well, Mr. Cleaver will help me.
Okay. Tag team.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor, Council. So yeah, tonight we were before you. It was kind of alluded to a little bit at Long Range Planning Task Force meeting last week. when it came to code compliance in general in the city. And just from a big picture, it's always confusing for our citizens. I know it can be confusing for lots of folks. There's historically at Keizer, there's been code compliance that is housed on the city hall side of the building out of the planning department or community development department. And then there's been community services officers, which is similar but different, but that's historically been in our police department. And so with the police department bringing back community services officers this past year to address some of their operational needs, Chief Copeland and I have actually had quite a few conversations about how does the city work best together and serve our citizens at large. And so when they went forward and hired, we may have had some hard feelings. I may have shed some tears because Chief Copeland may have stoled an employee that was in the planning department. No, not at all. It's great. But as you know, Benjamin Crosby, who was our code compliance officer for the past 10 years, ended up applying and getting a job as a community service officer over in the police department. It's great. I think it's working out good at least. And so it's for us on the planning side, on the city hall side, we needed to kind of think about it holistically. And for the last several years, our building permit specialist has been doing a ton of work providing code enforcement, administration, and compliance help to really coordinate the process with Ben. And so as we kind of looked at just overall workflow, work needs, and what would best serve the city, what we came up with, kind of not just me, but Mr. Cleaver was a huge help, kind of looked at our job descriptions and helped me walk through, okay, here's what we're doing, here's what we're trying to accomplish, and how do we best do this? So what we kind of ended up landing on was this approach to have a code compliance coordinator instead of a straight building permit specialist position. Part of that position will still be administration of building permits, but it will be more focused in that code enforcement realm, really because of the volume and the needs for our citizens. And ultimately, it helps our code compliance officer position be a lot more efficient and get a lot more done. We think it's a really great deal. The other thing is with the CSO positions in the police department, those community service officer positions in the police department, getting fully on board and online. Some of the functions that Ben had previously done out of the city hall side of the house, specifically to our population base experiencing homelessness, when it came to calls with concerns about graffiti, a lot of on-street parking complaints. That was something that the city hall side was kind of being the point of contact and the primary on it. And so that has shifted to go live in the police department as more the primary, where we can move back into being in a little bit more of a support role. So in looking at that and some of those duties and those levels of responsibility, the good thing for us is, we know that budgets are tight, but with the establishment of this code compliance coordinator position, in looking at the salary scales, it is a one-step increase from where it is. But then looking at our code enforcement officer position, our code compliance officer position, and some of the changes to those duties, we feel it's appropriate to drop that down one step as well. So there's basically no net loss, no net gain. It's kind of a even keel deal. So with that, all of that explanation, just thought I need to give you a little bit of backstory. So it is a new position, but it's not a new position. It's reflecting kind of the practice we've been doing, but defining it and creating a little more capacity as well. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, or Mr. Cleaver can answer them.
All right. So one of the things I understand from this is that the reclassification is reflecting the work already being done by the person in this position. So we're making sure that our job descriptions and the actual practice marry up, which is not only good business practice, but it's also legally required. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes.
Okay, I'm getting head nods also from Mr. Cleaver. Okay, any questions from council members? All right, Council President Starr, would you put the motion on the table?
I move that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R2026, establishing the classification of code compliance coordinator.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2026, establishing classification of code compliance coordinator. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously, one absent. Let's go to item 9B, ordinance relating to solid waste franchises, amending Keizer Code Section 30-8. City Manager?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. This is a item of cleanup, and so Mr. Lindsay, your city attorney, will handle that.
All right, Mr.
Yeah,
Lindsay.
And not too much more needs to be said about this. You know, we have solid waste franchisees, and they operate in accordance with a separate contract, and then they're supposed to follow this ordinance. This ordinance cleanup is literally only the insurance amounts that we've discussed here somewhat recently. And then, just so you know, their certificate of liability insurances already meet these requirements. This was just truly a cleanup in our books. And so this is yet another thing coming out of codification where we need to make sure that all of our laws are up to date, so.
All right. Any questions? Council President Starr?
I move that the Keizer City Council adopt ordinance number 2026 relating to solid waste franchises and amending Keizer Code Section 30-8.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt ordinance number 2026 relating to solid waste franchises, amending Keizer Code Section 30-8. Discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously, one absent. Okay, item 9C, resolution adopting the 2020 to 2030 Public Art Master Plan and ordinance relating to location of other public art, amending Keizer Code Section 12-29. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. This is the moment everybody's been waiting for, and the reason they came tonight is because we have the Public Art Master Plan before you. As Councilor Christopher said, they've been working on it for 18 months, and this plan establishes what different art programs, like our street art, our drain art, murals, and it also establishes locations. And those are the two main things, and which so you have two resolutions in front of you that establish those things through the Keizer Public Art Master Plan. And all the funding for that comes through the annual allocation given to KPAC through the budget process. And so their annual budget's been $6,000. Everything funded through this program would be through that allocation or through donations from other outside parties and partners.
Okay, any questions on the staff report or the Parks Master Plan? So I just want to follow up on that last comment. So this does go through the budget process, and it is under, if I remember, the transient occupancy tax page, because it is an attraction both for the people who live here, but also our visitors. So that's question one, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
And number two, you mentioned donations. In putting out a call for donations, if people want to do so, does that call come, does the Arts Commission go to the, to staff for permission to put out that request for donations? So we have a process in place for that to happen?
No.
Well,
How does that happen?
I'll defer to the Councilor Christopher if she wants to.
Well, for
Take it.
example, there's somebody on this dais who wanted to sponsor a utility box wrap, and they cost approximately $1,000. That person let it be known that they would like to sponsor that utility box wrap, and so they mention
Yep.
which one they wanted to sponsor, and when the artwork became available, Deb Cisco did the artwork for it, and the donation will be made once we execute on that. Those are the types of things we've got. So they've also sponsored a statue on River Road. So Iron Glory, Rick Smith donated that on a long-term loan. Those are the types of donations we get, Mayor. So we haven't done solicitation of art for a particular project. When we did the roundabout, when we did Rosalie's Cows, Keizer Community Foundation was a partner in that half of it. Keizer Community Foundation is also going to be a half partner on the mural that's going to go on Los Dos Hermanos. Those are the types of donations we receive.
So what I'm hearing actually it's a yes, because in putting out the call for the box wraps, that's an established program. We've let it be known that people can donate to that, but there's an established framework in which that can happen. So the solicitation then has gone through our city process to make sure that everything is open and equitable. And then if they have their particular favorite signal box, they can say, ooh, I would love to see something beautiful on that.
And they do.
And they do. Yes.
They have their favorites.
Indeed. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. Any other questions on the master plan? And for people who are confused, that says 2020 to 2030, and this is 2026?
It's an amendment, yeah.
Okay, so this is an amendment. So in this report, I'd like to have you highlight one little part here, and that is the art that belongs to the people of Keizer.
Okay.
You actually have an inventory of the pieces that the people of Keizer, own.
We actually do.
And we have on display here in our council chambers.
Right. What would you like me to say about that? Here's how we came to get it. Either it was donated, we wait till the end of the year, KPAC does, and if there's money left over from the $6,000 that we've been allocated, that we could purchase additional art for the Civic Center, and we have space to do it, then we do it. So this used to be, this whole room used to be a brown paper bag. And we decided it would be wonderful for y'all sitting in the audience while you're waiting for your issue to come up, if you could enjoy some of the public art that has been on display either in our East Gallery or our North Gallery. And so we buy them a bit at a time. So we'll probably fill that last one with some more. So as we have money left over before the end of the year, then we add to the city's inventory. In addition to that, we've inventoried, and it's now documented, all of the utility boxes, all of the sculptures that are on River Road. Soon, we'll be documenting Drain. We'll be documenting Drain. I just think it's good that we document where we're spending that money. And I hats off to the mayor. All of the documents that are on this side of the wall, those were not there until our 30th.
40th.
Was it the 40th?
It was the 40th.
Okay, the 40th anniversary of the city. All of those documents were hanging over in the cultural center, and the city gave us money to replicate them. And it was the mayor's idea that why don't we bring that and have some of our historical documents in the council chambers. I thought it was a great idea. There they are.
All right. Thank you. Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilor Christopher, the art that's in here, do you anticipate rotating that as time goes on?
We're going to have to. Yes, I would say as the year, I certainly hope that's the case, that we can, we add a piece or two a year. We don't add a lot. But absolutely, we're going to have to rotate at some point.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. Any other questions on the master plan? Council President Starr.
I move that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R2026, adopting the 2020 to 2030 Public Art Master Plan.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2026, adopting the 2020-2030 Public Art Master Plan. Any further comments? And I would just want to note for the record, as was stated earlier, this is an amendment to the original 2020-30 plan.
Correct.
All right. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously, one absent. Council President Starr.
I move that the Keizer City Council adopt ordinance number 2026 relating to location of other public art and amending Keizer Code Section 12-29.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt ordinance number 2026 relating to location of other public art, amending Keizer Code Section 12-29. Any discussion?
I would just make one comment. The reason that we did the update to the master plan was because of the utility box reps and then because of the art, the drain art. We didn't have those programs in the master plan. So in order to move forward and accept money from people who want to donate to the utility box program, we had to add it to the master plan.
All right, really appreciate that clarification. And then on this change to Keizer Code, again, now that we have all of our ordinances codified, it's a lot easier to find where we need to make those adjustments to make sure that our codes are consistent with what we're actually doing.
Madam Mayor?
Mr. Lindsay.
And this in particular is just the location of both the drain art and the street art won't be decided necessarily by the art committee, but
Correct.
by our public works. And so that's why we've made this change.
For the drain,
Right.
yeah. they tell us
Drains
where.
and I believe the street art as well, because it doesn't
Yeah,
have to
that's
comply.
right. Both.
Yeah,
That's right, we added street art too.
exactly. So both of these are in here, and that adjustment, because it says that the city council, which does approve the citing of other public art, because these affect public works facilities, the recommendation has to be approved by Public Works before it can move forward. We can't be putting public art in places that would not be compatible with the use of our public facilities. Okay. Anything further? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously, one absent. Oops, turn the page. That concludes administrative action. Let's go to other business. This time is provided to allow the mayor, city council members, or staff an opportunity to bring new or old matters before the council that are not on tonight's agenda. Mr. Brown, does staff have any other business to bring forward tonight?
Madam Mayor and Council, we do not have any other business to bring forward tonight.
Council members, do you have other business to bring forward tonight? Councilor Christopher.
I have a couple. I want no criticism on this art. This is the best I could do. I'm not a graphic artist. I wanted to bring forward a proposed addition to Verda. When we talked about this 2 weeks ago, we talked about how South Verda, the speed limit is 35, North Verda, the speed limit is 25, the circle is 30, and Shamawa is 30. So what I would like to bring forward tonight is for the city council, which I have talked with the city manager and we're allowed to do, we can reduce the speed limit on South Verda from 35 to 30. That would be consistent. I've driven the entire length of South Verda as compared to Shamawa. I can't understand why South Verda would be 35 and Shamawa would be 30. And I think all of you would feel that same way. In addition to that, Councilor Starr can verify this. Verda is such a critical street for us. It is a north-south collector, yet it has not been brought up to urban standards yet. And this will help us get there along with the grant that we've got for the work that's being done on South Verda. In addition to that, I remember when Trail Avenue was a raceway. And Councilor Judy Smith said, let's put a stop sign at Mandarin. That's right in the middle of that long extension on Trail. It'll stop people from speeding on that road. We didn't believe it, and it worked perfectly. That exactly stopped that. You've got a stop sign on Mandarin, and then you've got a stop sign on Manzanita. And as you know, you don't hear anything about Trail anymore. So I would like us to consider, which we can do, we have the authority to add stop signs. I would like to propose that we add a stop sign at Calmia, and you can see by my extensive art where that would be. And then on Larchwood, so heading north, you would have a stop sign at Calmia, then a stop sign on Larchwood. Coming south, you would have a stop sign on Longview. So you'll have one, because that's the only street there is when you're headed south. So we can stop it there, so they would turn from Lock Haven onto Verda, stop sign on Longview, and then there's not another road that we could put a stop sign on till they get to the circle. But going north, we can do it twice.
So may I recommend, for your consideration, that we ask staff to bring back, what
Yes.
this looks like and what our options are regarding, traffic, management in these locations?
Yeah, I've already talked with Mr. Brown about it, and we certainly would want an engineer's review, but it is within our power to do. And I think this greatly improves not only the consistency, yes, I talked with Mr. Myers
Yes,
too.
he's here.
This greatly improves the consistency, so you're not going from 35 to 30 to 25, and it's gonna slow the, and, don't forget, we added 112 apartments with Verta Crossing, 112. We're about to add an additional 8 on North Verta, cluster cabins. So the timing is right for us to make these safety changes. That road has to be as safe as it can possibly be, because it is a critical road for us. Probably the most critical road for us right now. So yes, let's have the engineer look at it, and then we can move forward.
So there's, I hear two things. One is a recommendation on the placement of the stop signs.
Yes.
By consensus, anybody disagree with having staff bring back a report and recommendation? I see no objection.
Great.
And then the second is on the alignment, and we talked about this when we opened the roundabout. So thank you for bringing it back, that we have, coming off the roundabout, we've got 4 different speed limits.
Yeah.
And we mentioned it back then, nothing happened, so I completely agree. Can we just get some consistency coming off of the roundabout, consistency down? Just saying, because we do have schools and a lot of people traveling by different means. The bus stop is near there, et cetera. So, asking staff to come back with a recommendation regarding the standardization and to the lower end for speed limits coming off the roundabout. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah.
Any objection to asking staff to come back with those reports?
Great.
I see none, so love to have that come forward. Thank you for bringing that forward tonight.
Great. And this, you want my second one now?
That
No.
was 2.
No, that was not 2.
Yeah, it
That
was.
That was all Verta. But it was still 2. Okay, well, so I guess I have 3.
Okay, number 3.
The other one I want to bring forward is, now that we've split off, Keizer Little League, and we're going to get an annual audit on that, I asked the question of Mr. Brown, when did we last have an audit on volcanoes? How often do we get those? And he said, it's been a while. And so then I asked Counselor Starr, who's been on city council for 5 years, and you said, well, I haven't ever seen one. So I'd just like to ask for an audit. I'd like to set up an outside, I'm not expecting anything, by the way. I'm not looking for anything. I think we have a fiduciary responsibility because we're partnering with them on that volcano. I thought we saw that on a regular basis. And so I would like to move that we establish a work group and have them hire an outside auditor. It's gonna cost money. It's gonna cost the city, Mr. Brown says 10,000.
So,
Yeah,
Yes,
I
Ann?
think, yeah, at least 5 to 10,000.
Okay, and so have the work group work with the auditor to find out, we don't have we haven't done it. We don't have a standard, but I think we should do it, and then we should set it up on a regular basis. 2 years, 3 years, I'm not set on that. I just don't think we shouldn't not ever do it.
so I'd like to back up this train just a little bit and get a report back from the staff about what is in our contractual agreement with the Volcanoes organization. So what they are required to provide for us, and make sure that we have all that information before we go into a next
Joe
step.
has that.
That would be helpful for us all to see, so that we would be able to then decide what we want to do going forward, and if it's necessary.
Okay, and there is a provision to ask for a full outside audit. There's also just the idea in the contract that they should or could be ordered to, produce their financials on an annual basis. So both of those are in there.
Okay.
So just so you know, but.
We just don't have
but
a
I could-
schedule of
If,
when we
if you
do
guys wanted that with more specificity, I would get the document in front of me and let you see it or put it back in a packet or something too. So if you're more comfortable seeing what exactly it says.
So, Counselor Kohler?
What do we expect this to show us?
Exactly. I think that because we're in business with them, we have a fiduciary responsibility, but I don't know when the last time we had any of this information. I was surprised to hear we hadn't. So I think we should, that's why I'm proposing that we put a work group together, decide what information do we want about this? And is it in compliance with our agreement with them? I don't know. I'm assuming it would be. I know Jerry, I've known him for years. I'm trusting that it's just fine. But it's been a really long time since we've done something. And I think now's the time to do it, especially where we've split off and we get an audit from the Floridians. I'm sorry, I can never remember the name of that business.
Sports facilities.
Sports
Facilities Companies.
Companies. That's the name of it?
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, we get an annual audit from them. I don't think we need an annual audit of the volcanoes, but I think if we could put the work group together, just get 3 counselors, how often do we want to do this? Is this an every 2-year thing? Is this an every 4-year thing? I don't know.
So 2 things. One, these agreements are extremely different. One is the management of a city-owned facility. The other is a long-term lease agreement. So before we launch into a work group, I would like to get a report back from staff on what has been the practice
Yeah,
for the
great
last
idea.
several years. So we understand where we're coming from, and also to have that conversation with the Volcanoes organization, what additional information might be helpful in understanding our position and so forth before we launch into something more expensive. And I'd rather know what we're asking for, and I really appreciate Councilor Kohler's question is, what information is going to help us in decision-making going forward? So I would like to get that before we move forward with a work group, but that's my opinion. Councilor Parsons?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My only thing is, isn't the only monetary thing we get from them a percentage of the automobiles that park in the parking lot? Or do we get something else? What is the contract? See, that's the same, I would like to see those things from the contract just to see, and maybe work group can help piece that apart, but.
Well, and I can't say just from memory what all of it is, sorry. But we do get a certain percentage of, I believe, their ticket sales too, don't we?
Gross receipt, too.
Yeah, or gross receipts.
Gross receipts.
And then we get,
Okay.
and so,
Rental and everything,
Yeah.
right?
Right, so that hasn't changed since the last amendment to the lease, so part of what I'm hearing is that, because we redid the lease a few years ago, it may predate some of you, so just getting that information to you and answer some questions might help frame all of our understanding, and then if we have additional questions to go from there. That would be my thought going forward. Go to Council President Starr.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think doing due diligence and just making sure that everything is, and I think it goes for everybody, if we're doing it with the Little League fields management, I would suggest that we maybe expand the suggestion to, what are we requiring of Keizer Fields?
Oh, good idea.
Keizer Community Fields, because I feel like there needs to be some consistency.
I agree.
Mr. Brown?
Sure, Madam Mayor and Council, the Keizer Community Fields is supposed to report to you twice a year. And so I have them on the docket to come in May for you. So
When was our last report to us?
they missed the last one, which should have been in October.
Oh,
Did they turn in financials, and what's that requirement?
We have the financials for each quarter,
Okay.
and yeah, they give us quarterly financials.
Why did they miss October? Sorry.
It was a combination of their oversight and our oversight.
Got it. Okay, thank you. But my suggestion is that the suggestion is good, but we include them as well.
I mean, that's really frequent, every 6 months, but,
But we didn't get it.
yeah, right. So I guess, I mean, the thing that prompted this in my mind was, okay, we're gonna get this annually now from the Little League field, and I didn't even think of the Keizer fields, but that's good. I think that you're right, the consistency should be, because all of them are supposed to be highest best use. You know, they're supposed to present us Keizer in the best light so that we can make as much income as we can off of those three avenues and be as available to the community as possible. So I think we should have an audit of all of them. And we know that we're getting it on the Little League on an annual basis.
So,
Well, the one thing I want to point out is that the management of city-owned assets is different from the long-term lease that we have, and I believe we better have a conversation under the contract that we have with the Volcanoes organization and get that information back. But these are a little bit apples and oranges.
It's on our land, and we are supposed to get
We
a
don't own
percentage.
the stadium.
We don't, but we own the land it's on, and we're supposed to get a percentage, and that's supposed to be managed just like the fields, just like Little League. It's supposed to be managed so that the city and the residents of Keizer get the maximum potential from those three entities.
So I'd like to get information back. I mean, if you want to vote on establishing a work group, we'd have to suspend the rules, take the matter, da-da-da.
I'd like to do
Or we
that.
can get the information back, find out what our contractual agreement is on the lease before we venture into some space that might be outside that purview.
But why don't we let the work group work with them and then bring it back to us?
Counselor Kohler.
Why don't we find out what we can do before we do the work group?
Okay.
I would concur. So-
Because that way, excuse me,
Yes, please.
because that way we can find out what we really can do from Mr. Lindsay and Mr. Brown, because we don't want to get out of our lane too far if legally we can't do that.
Okay.
And so, once we find out where we can, then, yeah, let's take a look at a work group and maybe we decide that we move forward on that.
Okay.
It may be a great idea, might be the great thing to do, but we won't know that until we look at it legally.
Okay. So additional information to come back to council. I'm sorry, Council President Starr?
Sorry, Madam Mayor. I just want to go back to, I think it's one thing to get the financials from the Keizer Community Fields. I think that's right, that's box A. I think it's entirely different to have the conversation about, a review of the financials or whatever we're talking about. So can we add that into the, what Mr. Lindsay looks at in terms of the contracts?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Are there other facility contracts that we want looked at?
I don't think so. Well, I mean,
Well, are there others we need to look at? That's the question.
well, okay.
Well, we need to be, if we're looking at our contractual management agreements, or in the case of Volcanoes, the contractual, that's a lease agreement, which again is a different animal. Making sure that we understand what we are doing, why we are doing it, and what information is going to be helpful for both the city, the people of Keizer, and for the organizations that are doing the work on behalf of the people of Keizer. Counselor Kohler.
What about the amphitheater?
Do we have a separate management for the amphitheater? We do not.
Really, just the summers.
And that's just event. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we don't have a separate management for the amphitheater. Okay. So let's, have additional information before we move
Okay.
forward with, into that territory.
Stay in our lane.
Yeah. I did have one other item, and I mentioned it to Mr. Brown. We've got two, speaking of work groups, we've got two that have finished their work and done a great job, and it's probably time to sunset them. And that would be the police services fee and the strategic plan work group.
Is police services fee done?
Or is your work group done?
Has there been a final recommendation?
We haven't had the recommendation come back to council
Okay.
yet, so.
So I don't.
So
I
that
think
one, not
just
yet.
to clean it,
Yeah.
keep it clean. Yeah.
Okay, so that one, but the strategic plan is adopted.
Done.
So, bring that back with a sunset at, the next meeting. Any objection?
No?
Okay, all right, we'll get that one into the sunset. All right, thank you very much. All right, staff updates. We'll start with Mr. Cleaver.
None tonight?
Mr. Brown?
None.
Mr. Wood?
I just want to say thank you again to the Keizer Rotary and Keizer Rotary Satellite Group. Just my back of the napkin math says this event, the City Hall cleanup, saves the city about $15,000 to $20,000 a year. So also special thanks to Lawrence for providing the dumpsters and the bins and all kinds of stuff. So that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Ms. Bissett?
Nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Chief?
Madam Mayor, City Councilors, thank you. I forgot to mention, last City Council meeting, we had 2 people graduate from the academy, but I forgot to tell you that Eric Barker, there's like 5 awards given out for the class, each graduating class, and Eric Barker, our local resident, got the Physical Fitness Award, which is more than just like showing up and doing a great job, but it's mentoring and encouraging and leadership within working hard while sweating and doing the physical fitness side of the academy. And then Josh Barnett, another local Keizer guy, got the Academic Award. And I think it may have been the highest score recorded in a long time. He missed 4 questions throughout the entire academy, which is unheard of. So,
Throughout the 16-week academy?
correct. Yep. Only 4 questions, and there's multiple tests along the way. So, 2 other things. I think Robin stole my thunder on the blast camp, but that is coming up. It's June 29th through July 1st, and then that's going to be at Claggett Creek Middle School. So it's back in the schools this year, and it's going to be a free camp for kids. And then lastly, if you saw on Facebook or Instagram, we have our Citizens Academy we're trying to get up and running again starting next month. So, yep. There's a couple of folks that have been through here, that academy in the room, and we're doing it again. So it's going to be every Tuesday for 5 weeks. That's it, short, not a lot of commitment, from 6 to 8. And then we're going to try to do one Saturday, if you're available, for a fun-filled hour or 2. It's educational and entertainment.
And how many can you hold?
We really want to keep the academy to about 15 or below. That way we can really answer questions and engage. So if you're interested, sign up.
And how do you sign up?
You can go to our Facebook or Instagram page and then just look at the post, and there's a link on there that takes you right to a form.
Is it on the website yet?
It is on the web. It is on the website because I know the form takes you back to our website.
Okay.
So, yes.
And does a ride-along also go along with that?
A ride-along would be included if someone wants to partake in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fun.
You don't
All of
have
it's
to,
fun.
but you can.
I was in the first class.
Yes.
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
Yeah.
So we haven't done it
Yeah.
based on staffing levels over the last couple of years, but now that we're getting closer, and we figured start this again. So there you
Wonderful.
go. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Ms. Blaylock?
I would just like to thank the Parks Board for having me. I got the opportunity to fill in for Robert at their meeting, and they were very welcoming, and I just appreciate the kind, warm welcome and the work that you're doing. I know that Robert and I are both very excited about the grants that you awarded and the work that you're doing, so thank you. Very nicely done. And then one shameless plug for the Great Raindrop Scavenger Hunt that is going on, and with the beautiful weather, I hope people will get out to the park at Keizer Rapids and check out that outdoor self-guided activity.
Looking forward to doing it. Thank you. Councilor Kohler?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ms. Blaylock, I just wanted to say I appreciate all the hard work you're putting in. You've been drinking from a fire hose, and we think that you're coming out really, really good. So thank you for your extra hard work, your studying, your communicating with all the different people you communicate with to do a good job as a Public Works Director for us. Thank you.
And any update on the Verta project? I know this is an ODOT project, but very much in collaboration with Public Works.
Yes, I think the last update was that they're still relocating utilities, and the contractor, I think their start date looks like the first week of April. I know it's early April, so we should see something, but the gas company is kind of working through their issue first. So once they get that underway, we should start seeing some stuff go.
Okay, it's been a huge, huge effort, so.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yes, it is. We're almost there. Mr. Witham.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Lindsay. Do you have a question?
Just happy to be here, nothing to share.
Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Witham, I noticed today a crew working on the removal of graffiti behind the Keizer Station sign, the entrance sign, and I just want to say thank you for making all that happen. I don't know who I need to say thank you to, but that makes a big difference and that helps clean our community up. Thank you.
No, I think that's great, and I think Chief Copeland had a hand in that, and actually I believe that Ms. Blaylock's staff also was helping out with that. So it was a great collaboration. I heard about it today. So
He'll take the thing, so.
Yeah. Yeah, the graffiti kind of pops up like some of the dandelions. So the more we can get people to report that to our form on our website, the faster we're going to be able to get taken care of. And it's really important to put it on the form because it gives our police department more information in getting these little darlings to cease their activities. Yeah, bless their hearts. With that, council reports. Councilor Duran.
I have nothing.
Councilor Christopher.
I have nothing except we had talked about it informally at the COG dinner. I think it would be a great idea for those who are interested in all of the changes that have been made. Thank you so much for your report on the weekly report. All of the changes that have been made at Keizer Little League Park. I know I would like to get out there, but I don't want to just walk it independently, not knowing. I'd like to have whomever would be in charge be able to point out and share with us what safety enhancements have been accomplished. I just feel that this is a different way than we've ever handled this park. And I know I would feel better knowing that I saw and could give full-throated support that our kids are going to be safe playing out there. So I don't know how that looks. I had talked, is that a work session? I mean, I don't know, but I'd like to have a tour of what's been done. And it sounds like a lot. So I don't know how that comes to be.
Mr. Brown, you had talked about it when you're planning to be out there to let council know if somebody wants to tag along. Is that something you wanted to do?
I'd be happy to take anybody out there, and we could do it in groups of 3 if you want to.
In what, groups of 3?
In groups of 3 if it's not a meeting. So groups of 3, we can go out there and gladly show you all. It's exciting what's happening out there.
Yeah.
And would that be not only you, which great, but the person that's running it? Okay.
Yeah, probably Mr. Higgins with me.
I'm sorry?
Probably be Mike Higgins with me.
Great.
Yeah, because he's local.
Great.
Yeah. So if people are interested in visiting the park on a guided tour, sounds like contact Mr. Brown to make arrangements.
Okay.
Okay. Very exciting. Good stuff. Council President Starr.
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Councilor Kohler.
Just one more thing.
Just one more.
Big shout out again to Clyde Creek Watershed Council and Rotary. I guess when you're involved in it, you kind of see all the little things that happen. And the coordination of all of those little things that makes a big, giant thing for us. And I just want a good shout out to them and the people that made that happen. and have made it happen in the past. I think of all the work that Mark Collier has done to really get that started and how he's teaching others to fill in his stead. Then, of course, next week is Keizer Community Dinner again. So come on down and partake. We start serving at 4:30 at St. Edward Catholic Church. Not this Wednesday, but a week from Wednesday. And I think that's it for now. I did have a lot of fun substituting on the Parks Board for Councilor Parsons, and great discussion on the pavilion, or whatever we end up calling it.
Covered Activity Center.
And it was fun to remind Mr. Lawyer that, oh, by the way, you did have a little event over at Ryan J. Hill Park that you didn't say anything about. So that was fun, and good, robust discussion, and we'll have a good Parks Board. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilor Parsons.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to thank everyone for filling in me for the last month while I went through some stuff. And then remember that next week is spring break, so watch out for the kiddos, slow down, and watch for graffiti.
Yeah, you.
Okay, and our painting crews, hopefully now that the weather's getting nice, will start coming out again and do that, okay? I'll talk with Hirsch. We'll get that done. Thank you.
The painting crews for removing, restoring from graffiti.
That's correct.
Yep.
Our ROTC from McNary.
Okay.
So you know, there's one on 14th Street.
Did it get put on the form?
Did you send it in?
Patty was supposed to.
Okay.
All right.
It's on the traffic box.
Yeah, there's a number of the utility boxes when I walk between my home and here, because I live near the high school. There's some little darlings that kind of compete on how many tags they can put on those things, which if they put enough on there, it might be abstract art.
It might be pretty.
Yeah, who knows? Anyway, with that, just a couple things to add. Let's see, this has been covered. I attended the Community Business Education Leaders, CBEL. They did a fantastic presentation, From Fragile to Resilient, supporting parents to build strong foundations for early learning. There's an ongoing theme here where with our Keizer Community Library, and also the activities within our community, our neighbor associations, and so forth, really trying to promote early education, learning. Please, I implore people, get involved with our library, with our schools, reading to kids, reading with kids. Our literacy rates need to come up, and all of us can make a difference in the life of a child. When that light bulb goes on and they start reading independently, I tell you, that's right up there in the top 10 things in their lives when it's just such a joy to behold. So really want to encourage all of us to get involved. Been very involved, as I reported last week at the State of the City address. Again, thank you to the Keizer Chamber and to our neighborhood associations for hosting the presentation of the State of the City. Thank you to Don Wilson and Lily Vaughn for making sure that we could record it this year. It is on our YouTube page if people would like to listen to it. I've been getting a lot of great feedback from people who've already watched the program. So using the OWL and getting that set up is so easy, and what an accessible way to make sure more information gets out into our community. Again, a huge thank you for everybody who helped with that. Legislative committees have been meeting on the League of Orange Cities side, our area, the Council of Governments, and the Oregon Mayors Association, all looking at, now that the legislature has left the building, what's happening next with rulemaking. I reported on some of that last week, and some of that rulemaking is underway, and is, I look at Mr. Witham going, oh yeah, I'm painfully aware how it really impacts our ability to be able to provide reasonable services to builders in our community when the rules keep getting changed on us. But I really appreciate Mr. Witham, your crew, and our planning commission, our liaison, Councilor Duran, on trying to make sure that we make it as customer-friendly as possible in the wake of all of the changes that keep coming at us and keeping Keizer. So thank you for that. I attended the Salem State of the City address, and coming up soon will be the Marion County address, which I believe is the 30th. It's right at the end of the month.
I think it's the 31st.
31st, it's a Tuesday. So if you haven't signed up for that, please see Ms. Bissett if you want to register to attend that event as well, the State of the County. One other thing I'd like to highlight is this isn't in Keizer, but it really helps our Keizer community as a whole with more affordable housing. It was such a joy to attend the grand opening of the Gussie Bell Commons, 120 units of beautiful, well-built, and well-planned affordable housing over on Center Street. Yes, it's in Salem, and yes, it's open to people in Keizer and Salem that will have a beautiful place to call home, to receive services for supporting their children, their development, family, cute little playground, and so forth. So this is what happens when community comes together and create spaces and places for families to thrive. So congratulations to all of the partners. There's a huge list of them on the back of the program for making this, that space happen. So I'm gonna leave you with that happy note. And let me go back to my agenda, which I think I put at the bottom. Yes, silly me, I did. All right, let's go to agenda input. We will meet at March 30th. At 6 p.m. for our joint meeting with the Community Diversity Engagement Committee, so that'll be a work session. We will meet in regular session on April 6th, starting at 6 p.m. We will have our annual work session with our neighborhood associations on April 13th, also starting at 6 p.m. And we will meet on Monday, April 20th at 6 p.m. in regular session. That is what I have for the month of April, the rest of March and the month of April. Anything else? The time is 8:13 and we are adjourned.